Hey kids, welcome back to World Drum Club. I'm Kalani, your host and teacher. This is a quick introduction to the snare drum. We're going to learn how to set it up. We're going to learn how to turn the snares on and off, and I'll give you a couple tips to make sure your snare drum is working and you're not going to damage it. So we've got a typical snare drum. This is a 13-inch drum. Usually they're 13, 14, maybe 15 for a large one. The top head is where you play it, obviously. That's called the batter head. The bottom is called the snare head. And these are the snares, and they're basically like strings that have been stretched out, and they run along the bottom of the head. And I don't know if you can hear that, but they actually vibrate when I'm talking, and that's because they're touching the snare head. The snare head is just for resonation, so we never play the snare head with anything. It responds to the batter head. So when we strike the top, the bottom head vibrates, and it makes the snare sound. So this is a super thin head, the snare head. We don't play that. Don't hit it, don't press on it, don't poke it, don't do anything to it. You can look at it, but that's about it. To turn the snares on and off, and right now they're off, I can use this lever right here. This is called the throw off, and we can use it to engage the snares and release the snares. The other thing here is there's usually a knob, and the knob is for adjusting the snare tension. So how tight are the snares? Let's see. I can loosen this or tighten it. Let's loosen it. Now the snares are loose. I can tighten them up. Now they're tighter. I can make them very tight. Not the best sound. So you have to use this one on the side. Sometimes you have to throw it off so you can loosen it or tighten it because it's hard to move when the snares are engaged. So use the knob to get the best sound you like, and then use the throw off to engage or disengage the snares. Usually when we're not playing the snare drum, we want to disengage the snares so that the snare drum is not vibrating when other things are happening. And you've probably noticed that if you're playing something like a bass instrument, the snare drum will start to vibrate. That's because it's picking up the vibrations and you're hearing the snares. So when you're not using the snare drum, usually disengage it. And in terms of adjusting it, whether you're sitting or standing, you want it at a comfortable height, maybe around your elbows, so that when you play the drum, you're not going to be hitting the rim all the time, but it's also not too low, just maybe a little bit below your elbows, or whatever's comfortable for you. But when you're standing with your arm down, your arm is extended, you've got the stick, you've got a little bit of space between the stick and the edge, and that would be the right height for you. That's my introduction to the snare drum. I'm Kalani, your host and teacher here at World Drum Club. Make sure to like it if you do, and I'll see you all in a future lesson.